Hello everyone. Thank you for attending this update webinar on Making Tax Digital, MTD for short. My name is Ellie Doggett and I will be your presenter today. By way of introduction, I support one of Advanced Financial Management Solutions and I have been actively involved in providing support to the MTD project over the last few months. During and at the end of this webinar, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions using the On24 chat facility. There are also a number of MTD documents which you can download during the webinar, which you may find useful. At the end of the webinar, we will collate and respond to all questions received through a separate communication. The launch of the new MTD rules is quickly approaching, so businesses need to prepare and put plans in place to ensure that they can comply with the new requirements when they come into force. The large number of registered attendees for this webinar certainly reflects this. So, today we will not be going into the detail of HMRC's VAT Notice 700-22. Instead, we will concentrate on providing you with a higher level appreciation of some of the key changes that are contained within the new Making Tax Digital Notice and clarifying when these changes come into force. We will then introduce you to our new Business Tax Portal solution and explain how it can help you comply with the new requirements, which will include a demonstration of the software. My colleague, Dan Wilkes, will then cover some of the commercial aspects of our proposition before we summarise and provide you with details of how to contact us if you wish to take things further. So, why is it so important that we gain an understanding of the Making Tax Digital legislation? Well, we recently surveyed 1,000 business professionals as part of our annual trend survey, and 43% of respondents revealed that they don't know if they'll be ready for the Making Tax Digital by the time it comes into force in April 2019. So, my aim by the end of this webinar is to ensure that Making Tax Digital is simplified and easier to understand, and that you have a clear view of what you need to do to ensure compliance. We will also talk through how Advance can help you with your plans. What does MTD mean for you? Well, all VAT-registered businesses with taxable turnover over the current VAT threshold of £85,000 will be mandated to use the MTD system from April 2019. Having said this, it should be noted that a recent HMRC announcement confirmed that a small number of businesses, referred to as deferred customers, which represents only 3.5% of VAT-registered businesses, won't need to comply until October 2019. These include, for example, trusts and NFP organisations not registered as a company, and public sector entities required to provide additional information on their VAT returns, such as government departments and NHS trusts, local authorities and public corporations. The government has also confirmed that they will not widen the scope of MTD beyond VAT before the system has been shown to work well, and not before 2020 at the earliest. Under the new rules, businesses are required to keep digital records and use compatible software to send their VAT returns to the HMRC. From April 2018, the HMRC had been working closely with software suppliers such as ourselves to pilot the new systems and software with a select number of pilot customers. As I mentioned, in April 2019, it will be mandatory, with the exception of deferred customers, to electronically file VAT returns using a new HMRC API. An important thing to take away from today's webinar is that from April 2019, businesses will no longer be able to enter their VAT figures directly in the HMRC portal, nor will they be allowed to use the old API which supports direct filing today. Instead, all businesses will be legally obliged to submit their VAT summary data, what's commonly referred to as the UK 9 boxes, digitally via the new HMRC API. So, moving on to the impact these new requirements will have on your business. There are two real key aspects to consider with the new notice. Firstly, digital record keeping. The HMRC requires that VAT returns are compiled using digital records which are specified in the notice. This covers dates of supply of sales and purchases, tax point dates, and VAT values and rates. It also covers the digital maintenance of designatory data, for example, company name, principal business address, VAT registration number, and the VAT scheme that the VATs or returns are prepared in accordance with. The notice also specifies that digital records must be used to compile VAT summary return data. One of the most important aspects of the notice is that where multiple systems are used to record sales and purchases, then the transfer of data between those systems must be made using digital links. Definitions of what constitutes digital links are clearly outlined in the notice, but do not include manual transpositions of data or cut and paste. The notice also confirms that adjustments required to the summary VAT data do not have to be maintained digitally, nor is there a requirement to transfer the summary adjustment figures into the return digitally. Secondly, there is a change to the process required for filing the returns. As previously mentioned, the summary 9-box VAT data must be transmitted using a new API, and where a separate software application is used to support the transmission, then summary VAT data must be transferred into that application digitally. Together, the maintenance of digital records and the transmission of summary VAT data must be processed within what is referred to as a functional compatible software. So, having covered some of the most important aspects of the MTD notice, let's now outline how Advanced intends to help its customers meet the new requirements. The maintenance of digital records will largely already be taken care of within the FMS system that you use today, so our focus has been on ensuring that our customers can comply with the filing of the periodic VAT returns with a new software solution that we have developed. The new solution is known as the Business Tax Portal, and it will be available in 2 editions which provide different capabilities. The base edition concentrates on providing the minimum functionality required to meet the new requirements, and the full edition will provide all of the facilities available within the base edition, plus a number of complementary capabilities which are outlined in this slide. The base edition will accept the summary 9-box data from your FMS via a CSV file import, or a direct feed from your FMS using a supplied web services API. It will then submit the summary 9-box information through the new HMRC API. A full audit trail of all previous submissions will be maintained within the software. The full edition will accept transactional level data from your FMS, which will be used to compile the 9-box summary data. Once again, this can be transferred through a CSV file or a direct push from your FMS using a supplied web services API. It will support the review and correction of transactional level data by users. It will also allow adjustments to be made to the imported data, for example, partially exempt VAT adjustments, all of which can be reviewed and approved by nominated users. Any adjustments and corrections made within the full edition can be automatically journaled back to your FMS to keep the accounting records in line with the submission. There will also be the facility to enter comments and to upload files to support any corrections or adjustments that are processed within the Business Tax Portal. The full edition also offers approval and reconciliation facilities to ensure the data is accurate before the return is submitted to the HMRC through the new API. So, to summarise, the base edition will provide a digital upload of summary VAT data and digitally transmit that data through the new API, both of which are requirements under the new VAT notice, whilst keeping a record of all submissions and return responses. This will allow our customer to comply with the new requirements with little or no disruption. The full edition will also deliver these facilities, whilst also offering a number of beneficial added value capabilities, which are in line with the spirit of the notice, which seeks to reduce the incidence of errors by allowing adjustments to be made digitally with automatic updates back to the FMS, and the availability of peer review through inbuilt approval processes. Let's now take a look at how the new Business Tax Portal will be delivered to customers. As previously mentioned, the Business Tax Portal will accept information from FMS systems through digital links, either through CSV imports or a direct push of data using a web services import API. The solution will be available to customers as a cloud-based software-as-a-service solution running on the Amazon Web Services platform rather than an on-premise install. VAT returns will then be transmitted using the new HMRC API. The base edition of the Business Tax Portal is available now, with the full edition expected to be released in March. Let's now watch a short video which will provide you with a closer look at the Business Tax Portal and the capabilities that are provided within the base and full editions. After this video, my colleague Dan Wilkes will take you through some of the important commercial aspects of the new solution before I rejoin you to summarise and close the webinar. Hello everyone, and welcome to the short overview video of the Business Tax Portal. This video will aim to show you the full end-to-end process from registering your company within the base edition of the Business Tax Portal to the successful submission of your 9-box VAT return. The first screen we can see here is the registration screen. You will be required to register an email address and set up a password. Once you have done so, a link will be sent to your email, which will take you to the logon page. One or more users will have access to the system, subject to the maximum permitted number of licensed users. Users will be maintained within the Business Tax Portal, and we will look to provide single sign-on to those customers who use single sign-on today with their advanced applications. A useful password reminder/reset facility will also be provided should users forget their passwords. When you log on to the portal for the first time, you will be required to register your account details with the HMRC so that the Business Tax Portal can connect and file returns through the new API. As you can see, you will be automatically redirected to the HMRC's verification engine to complete the one-time registration, which will then enable you to submit your returns. Once you've successfully validated your account details, then you will need to complete Step 2, which requires you to provide details of the VAT registrations that the Business Tax Portal will file VAT returns against. The system will accommodate more imports from multiple systems and consolidate them into a single registration. Within this screen, we can see what details need to be provided, such as company name, address, and the VAT scheme you use. These details must be recorded digitally under the new Making Tax Digital notice and are referred to as designatory data by the HMRC. It is also possible to set up multiple companies under one VAT registration number, as demonstrated here. Once these 2 steps have been completed, you're nearly ready to start using the Business Tax Portal. Firstly, though, you need to set up details of any other users who require access to the portal. To do this, you can click the Set Up New Users button, which will show you a list of current users, whilst allowing you to add, delete, or edit existing users. Alternatively, you can click the Users tab, which lies on the left-hand side of this main homepage. To set up a new user, you need to supply their name, email address, and password which they'll use to log on to the Business Tax Portal. You'll also need to define what roles and responsibilities they have. For the base edition, users will either be standard users or administrators. The facility to disable individual users' IDs rather than delete them is also provided. This might be useful, for example, where a member of staff is on temporary leave or on secondment to another department. Once you've finished setting up the new users, you're transferred back to the user menu where you can see a list of the users with their different permissions. We are now ready to import the summary 9-box VAT totals for each of the companies that have been identified previously. The import menu allows you to download a CSV template which can then be populated with the 9-box VAT totals and uploaded into the system. For the purposes of this demonstration, however, I have pre-populated a spreadsheet with the data, and this is the file that I'm going to import. In addition, some FMS systems will automatically push data into the system using an API that we have designed to import summary VAT data. Once imported, the system will then validate the imported data and maintain a summary of all historic imports, CSV and FMS push data, as we can see on this screen. Any errors detected within the import files are clearly shown. A filter is then provided to allow the user to focus on any imported files with errors. You can then click on the error count to investigate the errors. Users would then be required to correct the errors at the source and re-upload the data. Data files with errors can easily be deleted if required. So now that we have set up tax registrations, companies and users, and imported our 9-box VAT data, we are ready to make our submission through the new HMRC API. To do this, we visit the home page, where we can see a list of the recent submissions that we have made or submissions that are waiting to be submitted. To activate a submission, we simply click on the Ready to Submit return, and we're transferred to a page which confirms the aggregated 9-box VAT totals we're about to submit. If we are happy with the information that is presented here, then we simply click on the Submit Return button. Once entered, we are transferred back to the home page, where we can monitor the progress of the submission in real time. Once the return has been successfully submitted, the confirmation number will be shown alongside the return that you have submitted in the top right corner. This concludes the short video overview of the base edition of the Business Tax Portal. Thank you for watching.
So having seen the release version of the base edition of the Business Tax Portal, let's now take a look at the planned capabilities of the full edition, which is due for release at the end of March. To do this, we'll be using special design software, which allows our developers to prototype the planned user interface to a solution early in its design. The release version of the full edition of the Business Tax Portal may therefore vary slightly from what you see today. Within the full edition of the Business Tax Portal, you will be expected to define the format of the account key within the FMS to allow the Business Tax Portal to pass journals automatically back to the FMS in respect of any adjustments or corrections processed within the Business Tax Portal. Note though that this capability is only relevant to the full edition of the Business Tax Portal. So let's now take a look at some of the complementary facilities that are provided in the full edition. If we look at the menu in the left-hand panel on the home page, we can see that many of the options are those which we've already taken a look at in the base edition. Let's quickly take a look at what's different in the configuration menu. Setup of tax registrations is identical to that in the base edition, but there are 3 new setup options in the full edition. Button number 2 is the establishment of tax codes. These will correlate to the tax codes that you use today within the FMS, and need to be linked to the various companies that you have defined within the Business Tax Portal. When we import transaction data, the system will automatically check that the tax codes on sales and purchase transactions can be used by the company we are importing data into. If not, then errors will be highlighted to the user at the time of import. The option to add new tax codes and to link them to companies can be performed using the Add button. Button number 3 relates to the definition of layouts, which is essentially the schema for the tax authority's expected data file. This will already have been defined and will correlate to the UK's 9-box VAT return, although its presence here gives us potential to use the Business Tax Portal to file returns in other countries or for future UK taxes that may fall under the Making Tax Digital umbrella. The final button in the lineup is for the definition of the journal transaction formats that will vary depending upon the FMS that the Business Tax Portal will pass journal transactions back to. These formats will be predefined by ourselves, ready to be used when the system is shipped. The User Roles line shows a count of the users by role and shows any unused user licenses. In this example, the maximum number of permitted users is 9, which have all been utilised and of which 2 are administration users. The final option is Workflow, which controls whether any adjustments processed within the Business Tax Portal require review and approval. Processing of adjustments and their approval are both features which are only available within the full edition. If we select the Adjustments menu, we can see that there are 2 different types of adjustments that can be processed. Regular recurring adjustments that are processed against each periodic return, such as fuel charge and partially exempt VAT adjustments, and ad hoc adjustments to cover corrections where, for example, an invoice has been recorded with the wrong VAT code. If we click on one of the adjustment categories, we can see the detail of the adjustments and whether a journal is required to be posted back to the FMS in respect of that adjustment. The ability to record supporting narratives and to attach electronic files to support the adjustments is also provided. For example, the detailed calculations supporting a fuel charge adjustment. At the bottom of the adjustment menu, we can see a full audit trail of any adjustments, which confirms who entered the adjustment and whether the GL was updated in respect of that adjustment. Details of the resultant journals arising from adjustments can be inquired upon within the Journals menu. The Reconciliation menu is again another exclusive feature of the full edition. When activated, we can drill down to see the imported data values alongside the adjustment values to provide the final submission values. If we click on any of the 9-box totals, then we see a pop-up that provides the user with the transactional details that support the selected box total. Again, the ability to enter free format notes and to attach supporting electronic files as evidence of any adjustments made is provided. The audit menu is identical to that provided in the base edition, and clicking on the Home button takes us to a list of recently submitted returns and any pending fully approved submissions that are ready to be submitted. The procedure for submitting the returns is the same as that demonstrated previously.
Thanks, Ellie. The supporting commercial model for the Business Tax Portal is made up of 4 components: an initial software license, an annual subscription fee, training, which is delivered as either an e-learning or 2 remote training bites, services for the portal configuration, setup, and application consultancy if necessary. Any investment will depend on your individual processes and requirements, and whether you select the base or full edition. To discuss your requirements and how we can help, please speak to your account manager or contact us at hello@oneadvance.com or call us on 0121 273 9160. I'll now hand back over to Ellie.
We are now approaching the end of this short webinar, so before we conclude, let's take a quick look at the reasons why we believe you should consider Advance to help you deliver an approved working solution to the new mandated Making Tax Digital requirements. We are a trusted supplier of FMS solutions with over 3,000 finance customers. We have developed our solution in conjunction with the HMRC during the pilot phase. We offer integration with our own and external FMS solutions via a cloud-based solution which offers minimal disruption with regard to installation and configuration. The UI UX has been designed to provide simplicity and ease of use to the end users. We guarantee to continue supporting and developing the Business Tax Portal. Customers will be able to upgrade easily as we introduce new capabilities, for example the transmission of supplementary and voluntary updates which the HMRC has said will be introduced at a later stage in 2019. We have a deep knowledge and understanding of the requirements which we've demonstrated today. The solution has been carefully designed with input from accounting professionals and also with direct customer engagement, where we visited and discussed our plans with a number of selected customers. In summary, we are able to offer customers a fully supported software solution which integrates with your core FMS and which complies with the new requirements contained within the MTD notice. So, let's quickly recap what we've covered during this webinar. Making Tax Digital is fast approaching, with the new rules becoming effective for most customers in April 2019. We've worked along HMRC to produce a solution which aids compliance with Making Tax Digital. Our Business Tax Portal is supplied in 2 editions, Base and Full. Base is available now, and the Full in March 2019. The Business Tax Portal has been designed to integrate with any FMS.